This evening, the Bharatiya Janata Party has released its manifesto days before the first phase of voting for the Lok Sabha elections. Among other things, the 45-page manifesto has promised the extension of the cash support scheme, PM Kisan, to all farmers and has reiterated the Modi government's pledge to double farm income by 2022. National security is the other key element of the BJP's manifesto. The party has pledged to complete the National Register of Citizens process soon and to implement NRC in other parts of the country as well. The BJP has also vowed to enact the Citizenship Amendment Bill. The party has once again committed to abrogate Article 370 and annul Article 35A. Parishad Luthra, who was at the press conference, joins in now. Parishad, take us through the key highlights from the manifesto today.
Well, the big focus was on national security. The manifesto was released before the media by Rajnath Singh, who was head of the manifesto committee. He explained how this exercise had gone on for the last 2 to 3 months, and he said that India under Narendra Modi has attacked the root cause of terror, the origin of terror, which is in Pakistan, through the airstrike and also the surgical strike that had taken place post the incident in Uri. There would be no compromise on the issue of national security and zero tolerance for terrorism. That's what Rajnath Singh said initially. On the issue of Ram Mandir, which always figures in the BJP manifesto, and probably this may affect some BJP workers as well, because there was only one line, and Rajnath Singh said that this is an issue that is in courts of law and we will do our best and explore all options to establish and build a Ram Mandir at the earliest. There was a lot of focus on the economic front in that manifesto. The BJP and Rajnath Singh saying that they would extend the PM Kisan scheme to all farmers in the country. Remember, over the last few weeks, there has been a bit of anger among farmers as to how this PM Kisan scheme is restricted to a few set of farmers in the country. Arun Jaitley also saying that 100 lakh crore rupees would be spent on infrastructure in the last 5 years on creating livelihood. 25 lakh crores would be spent on the rural sector alone. When the Prime Minister came, he said that we would focus on the last mile delivery and improving development across the country and reducing regional imbalance. Also on the issue of poverty, Arun Jaitley said that we would be trying to make sure that poverty comes down to single digit in the next 5 years, and finally we get rid of it altogether. That was what the BJP, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and all the ministers of the Modi government said. They have been attacked by Congress party and also the TMC for jumlas. That's what the Congress party is saying, that unemployment is at a 45-year high. This has been a Kisan Virodi Sarkar. There have been multiple farmers' protests. Mamata Banerjee saying Prime Minister must actually give an account of what work has happened since the 2014 manifesto. Back to you.
ये हमारी प्रेरणा है। अंत्योदय ये हमारा दर्शन है और सुशासन ये हमारा मंत्र है।
मैं समझता हूं कि ये जो मैनिफेस्टो जारी किया, इससे तो अच्छा था कि ये माफीनामा जाहिर करते।
हम जब इस मैनिफेस्टो को लेकर के आए हैं तो साफ है हमारे मन में वन मिशन, वन डायरेक्शन।
इसमें सिर्फ मैं ही मैं हूं। एक तरफ जनता है, कांग्रेस पार्टी है, एक तरफ सिर्फ मैं ही मैं हूं।
This manifesto, in a season of manifestos, is not prepared with a टुकड़े-टुकड़े mindset.
मोदी सरकार का सफरनामा जो आज हमने देखा वो जुमलों से झांसों तक है।
मोदी जी देश की नब्ज पहचानते हैं, राहुल गांधी देश की नब्ज नहीं पहचानते।
फिर एक बार उन्होंने किया झांसा पत्र तैयार, देश की जनता खारिज करेगी इस बार और झोला उठाकर
And you can catch a special discussion on the Bharatiya Janata Party's manifesto, all the highlights from it at 7 p.m. only on CNBC-TV18. Moving on to the big court story of the day, the Supreme Court today ordered verification of 5 electronic voting machines per assembly segment during the upcoming election. This after PIL has sought verification of 50% of EVMs for each assembly segment. Ashmit Kumar is here with the details. Ashmit, important order there. What transpired in the court today?
Well, the Apex Court has made its position quite clear that as far as the current systems that are in place, they need further improvement, and towards that end, the Apex Court making it abundantly clear that the EC, come these set of Lok Sabha elections, will have to go ahead and ramp up the current levels of EVM, VVPAT verification from 1 per Lok Sabha constituency to 5 per Lok Sabha constituency. This would, of course, be a big jump from what the systems that are currently in place for. Of course, let's keep in mind that the Election Commission, in the affidavit that they had filed before the Apex Court, had made their position quite clear, that there are enough systems in place, that the systems are followed rigorously, that there are enough checks and balances to ensure that there is a credible election, that these elections are celebrated the world over, that even recommendations of the expert committee did not warrant or did not ask for such elaborate arrangements for EVM VVPAT verification, and that the current system of one EVM VVPAT verification per Lok Sabha constituency is enough. The Apex Court, of course, seems to disagree. The Apex Court believes that there's further checks and balances required towards that, and they've increased that to 5 for Lok Sabha constituency. What is interesting, however, is that this is a big departure from what had been sought in the petition. The PIL had essentially sought for 50% EVM VVPAT verification for every Lok Sabha constituency. 50% of the EVMs that are deployed for every Lok Sabha constituency, the plea was that there should be 50% verification of them via VVPAT. That is clearly not something that has happened. So clearly, the petitioners might not be very happy, but the Apex Court trying to find some middle ground and increasing that to 5 EVM VVPAT verification for the upcoming Lok Sabha elections. Back to you.
All right, Ashmir, thanks for that. But staying with Election Commission, the poll body has written to the Finance Ministry advising it that any enforcement action by government agencies during the election period should be neutral, impartial and non-discriminatory. The letter has come at a time when various opposition parties have accused the centre of misusing the enforcement agencies to harass them. Moving on, former Finance Minister and senior Congress leader P. Chidambaram is apprehensive of income tax raids on him. He has tweeted, and I quote, "I have been told that the IT department has plans to raid my residence in Shivaganga constituency and in Chennai. We will welcome the search party." End of quote. He went on to add, and I'm quoting again, "The income tax department knows that we have nothing to hide. They and other agencies have searched our residences before and found nothing. The intention is to cripple the election campaign." End of quote. Well, that of course dialogue goes on, but we will shift focus now to the Lal Street. It was a cautious start to the trading week on the Lal Street. Nifty and Sensex lost around 0.5% and witnessed a volatile day of trade. Mid-caps underperformed, ending 1.2% from the day high. The Bank Nifty closed 0.4% in the red. Surbi Upadhyay is standing by for a detailed check of the market action. Surbi, profit-taking kept the bulls out of the game seemingly today.
A volatile start to the week, some profit taking in the first half and a sharp recovery in the last half an hour. That's how you can perhaps sum up trade. And you have to thank the IT sector for really taking the baton from the banks. Mid-caps were also looking at profit taking. The VIX was higher, so there was a lot happening this Monday. Let me come to stocks. As I said, IT was leading from the front and preventing a bigger collapse, a bigger fall. So stocks like Infosys, TCS, Tech Mahindra, these were up and about. Where was the problem then? If you talk about the losers, this big spiral up in crude oil prices, that led to profit taking on stocks like IOC, BPCL, etc. Reliance was also a little subdued. Then recent high flyers like Bajaj Finance, there some money was coming off the table. So these were the weak links. Financials, particularly banks actually, were also on the back burner today. Yes Bank, SBI, ICICI Bank, most of these large banks which have really run up, they were on the back foot today. I'll talk about the deal stocks very quickly. Now, Indiabulls Housing Finance has ended at the lows of the day as the market digests the news. Sell-on news really playing out over here. Whereas Lakshmi Vilas Bank was actually up 5%. If I talk about the tech deal, then NIIT, where the money comes in from the borrowings deal, this stock was up 20%. NIIT Tech was actually a bit subdued, down about 3%. Some mid-cap movers. The buzz of the Navi Mumbai airport kept Reliance Industrial Infra and Jaycorp in high spirits. Some very smart double-digit gains on these stocks. Balrampur Chini, Dhampur witnessing some correction. Sugar stocks cooling off once again. And DLF and Godrej Properties, again, where we've seen a very, very ferocious rally in the last couple of weeks. That's where profit taking was the order of the day. Interesting start, slight volatility. Let's see what the rest of the week brings.
On to corporate. Following their announcement last week regarding their intent to merge, shares of Indiabulls Housing Finance and Lakshmi Vilas Bank saw sharp and contrast movements in trade today. So while Indiabulls declined by over 5%, Lakshmi Vilas Bank, as you can see on your screens, rose to hit the 5% circuit. Remember, according to the proposed amalgamation, shareholders of Lakshmi Vilas Bank will get 14 shares of Indiabulls for each 100 shares held in the bank. All eyes are, of course, now on the Reserve Bank of India for this plan to finally fructify. Lata Venkatesh is here to give us her take on the proposed merger. Lata.
the first salvo we got from the Reserve Bank was the statement that they have not given any permission so far, nor have they had any informal meetings on the matter. Now, the next step is how the Reserve Bank will go about the entire process. The first rule is India Bulls. Okay, but incidentally, this is the first time that after the on-tap license rules were put in for bank license, that RBI is getting a case. Initially, in the first 20 years since 1991, they used to have batches. You know, in 94 they gave a batch of about 7 licenses. Again in 2003 they gave a batch of 2 licenses. Again in 2013 they gave 14. They gave 2 licenses. Then they put it on tap. So as and when people feel they are ready, they can go in. Now, RBI's initial thinking, even in 2013 when they invited applications, was not to have people with a real estate and broking background, because they thought that that is a very aggressive business, doesn't gel with banking. But they mollified their stand after they talked to the government, and the government said, ab initio, why reject anyone? You have to consider everyone on a case-by-case basis. So on this current issue, according to the rules, India Bulls should not have more than 40% of its money coming from non-financial business, and this India Bulls meets by a yard. I mean, there's hardly 10 or 15% of their money that comes from their real estate and other ventures. But the bigger bar is that they should pass the fit and proper test. Now, how do you do this? The Reserve Bank will, of course, check out with other regulators whether there are any cases, you know, the income tax, the SEBI, IRDA, ED, all those guys. They'll also go with a microscope as to why they were not given license in the 2013-14 round as well. What were the reasons? Have any of them altered? So all these will be looked at, and you can be very sure that Reserve Bank will take its own time. This is not something we're going to get anytime soon from the Reserve Bank. It should not be assumed that the license is given till you actually see it signed by the Reserve Bank.
Okay, Lata, thanks for breaking that down for us. Let's move on to another story that we've been tracking very closely from day one. SBI-led consortium of banks has invited bids for Jet Airways. The lenders are planning to sell up to 75% stake in the airline. The last date to submit the expression of interest is the 10th of April. Ritu Singh is here with the other highlights of the expression of interest document. Ritu, Jet Airways kept you busy over the weekend. What is the update now? What kind of investors can bid for the company? What are the criteria? You've gone through that extensive expression of interest document. Take us to the fine print.
Well, Kritika, 2 days after it was initially expected to be made public, the EOI document has now finally been put out by the State Bank of India-led consortium, where they've said they're looking to sell anywhere between 31 to 75% stake in Jet Airways. But do remember, currently bankers don't own any equity in the company. Because of the Feb 12 circular being scrapped in Supreme Court, banks have not been able to convert debt and acquire 51% as was initially the plan. So therefore, any stake sale that happens will be from the existing investors that are Naresh Goyal and Etihad Airways. Now that said, expressions of interest or the process of stake sale has been kick-started, and EOIs have been invited from both strategic as well as financial investors. Certain criteria has been laid down for the bidders that are interested. For instance, for strategic investors, they'd have to have minimum net worth as of the last financial year at 1,000 crore rupees and at least 3 years of experience in the aviation business. If it is a financial investor, they're required to have a minimum assets under management of 2,000 crore rupees or investable income of 1,000 crore rupees. Further, if it is a consortium of bidders, strategic and financial, or a group of financial investors, there can't be more than 3 members in the consortium, and each member has to have at least 15% stake in that entire consortium. Now remember, the deadline has also now been extended from 9th April to 10th of April, which is when you should see bids coming in. We have been reporting that private equity players like TPG, Indigo Partners, NIIF have also shown interest, as has Etihad Airways, which is currently a partner. But will these actually fructify and result in actual bids? We'll find out on Thursday.
Good point, Ritu. We'll find the exact details on Thursday. Thanks for joining in with that. Let's drive over to the auto sector. Auto industry body SIAM has released some March sales data for the sector, and it doesn't paint a pretty picture. So as far as domestic demand is concerned, that's where the worry is. Total passenger car sales are down close to 7% for the month compared with the same period a year ago. While overall two-wheeler sales are down 17.3%, standalone sales have fallen 14.5% year-on-year. The only positive data seems to have come in from the commercial vehicle segment, with medium and heavy CV sales up close to 5% and total CV sales up to about 0.3%. Total vehicle exports have also gone up by about 4% during that same period. Trouble seems to continue for Ericsson. Meanwhile, the National Company Law Appellate Tribunal has reiterated that if Reliance Communications goes under IBC, Ericsson will have to refund the settlement sum of 578 crore rupees. The NCLAT has also directed Ericsson to clarify on the state of proceedings in the Supreme Court. The Appellate Tribunal is set to hear the case on the 30th of April. Now for our ongoing series, Election Caravan, down south in Andhra Pradesh. It's a four-way battle, Modi versus Rahul versus Chandrababu Naidu versus Jagan Mohan Reddy, as the state readies to choose its representatives in the Lok Sabha and the State Assembly. While a four-cornered contest could mean a number of possibilities, CNBC-TV18 Jude Sanath discovers that each of these parties are confident of reaching the winning formula.
Vizag's beaches may betray a sense of calm and serenity, but the campaign trail is anything but. For the first time in a while, the battle for 25 Lok Sabha seats in Andhra Pradesh is a multi-cornered one. There are regional rivals, the TDP and the YSR Congress, and the two national parties, the BJP and the Congress, none of whom have stitched any solid alliances. In the rural heartland though, while the BJP may portray a steely exterior, its candidate, former MOS and Vizag MP Purandeshwari, who is also the daughter of former Chief Minister N.T. Rama Rao, admits that the party is tempering its ambitions.
Well, we are confident that Bharatiya Janata Party may emerge as a good, strong power. And we are not talking about coming into power right now. We've been going to the people and reminding them about the kind of U-turns that the Chief Minister of the state has already been taking. Well, he was the one who actually welcomed the special package in place of the special category status.
Adding to the uncertainty is the state's newest kid on the political bloc, the Janasena Party. Formed by actor-politician Pawan Kalyan, poll experts say the party could be a crucial vote splitter. One of the reasons actor-turned-politician Pawan Kalyan's Janasena Party could emerge as the dark horse is the clarity of its manifesto. In a commercial hub like Visakhapatnam, for instance, its candidate V.V. Lakshmi Narayana wants to keep the focus on industrial growth. A key focus area, for instance, is boosting production at the government-run PSU, Vizag Steel. There is also the promise of infusing local skill into the region's steel plants.
Because they are on the expansion scale on one side. From 3 million tons per annum, they have gone up to 6.3. Now they want to do it up to 7. So for that, they need to have a continuous input material, the iron ore. And also there are a lot of settlement issues of the people who have donated their land or who have given up their land for the steel plant and the Gangavaram port and all. So these are certain issues which I will be basically looking into.
With less than 3 days to go for voting day, no one has forgotten that such a multi-cornered contest could give rise to a number of political permutations and combinations. And that means each of the hopefuls is in for a nail-biting time till the results are announced. In Visakhapatnam, Jude Sanath.
We'll get you more from Election Caravan through the day. But moving on, in a setback to economic offender Vijay Mallya, the UK court has rejected his plea against the extradition to India. Sanjay Suri joins in now from London with the latest. Sanjay, what next for Mallya then? Are the decks really cleared for his extradition? What is the final step looking like?
A huge setback to Mallya in his attempt to block extradition to India. He had been counting on winning the appeal in the High Court. He had spoken very confidently that he will succeed on appeal. Far from succeeding, the court has ruled that there is not enough merit in his appeal even to deserve a full hearing. At this stage, the matter has been heard by way of written submissions, and the High Court has refused leave for a full hearing of his appeal. There is one last stage left still in the appeals process for Mallya. Under that rule that is allowed to him, he will be allowed a short oral submission in the court, to which of course there will be a rejoinder by the Crown Prosecution Service acting for the Indian government. But that really is just one last little step remaining. Barring that, it's going to be all set for a plane to turn up in London and bring Vijay Mallya back to India. the Supreme Court does not normally hear cases that are not of public interest. So we are really now at the very last stages of the hearing the whole process in the Mallya case.
Okay, last stages always seem to be long, Sanjay, but we'll keep having Sanjay back to give us all the updates from UK. But with that, we will have to wrap up this edition of After the Bell. Many thanks for watching. Stay tuned.